You have two options. If you look at all of these Western countries, there are two options. There's the left liberal option, and then there's the right wing option. In the United States, that means you have the Democrats on the left and the Republicans on the right. And the facade that's given is that these are two alternatives. You can either be a left wing, and if you don't want to be a left wing, a political alternative to the left wing is the right wing, to be a Republican. And these two sides are opposed, and every election cycle they're vying for your votes. You select through your democratic vote the direction of the country. Do you want your country to go left, or do you want your country to go right? You can't be more diametrically opposed than left and right. So choose. You have the power to choose the future depending on what you think is right. And as many have pointed out, like, this is just a facade, that the left and the right, they're all under this wider umbrella of liberal secularism. This is how I put it. This is how I explain it. Like, this is all just liberal secularism. You just have a left wing of that liberal secularism, and you have a right wing of this liberal secularism. They're not actually alternatives to each other. So when you vote for Donald Trump instead of Kamala Harris, or you vote for Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump, you're not fundamentally going to see a change in the underlying system, which is liberal secularism. And as time goes on, the train of liberal secularism continues to march forward. This train that is set to destroy all religions, to destroy all human identities, to destroy all human values other than freedom and equality, to destroy the human family, to destroy all social and familial ties and marital ties. This liberal secular project, which we've discussed many times on Muslim Skeptic, that's a large part of my dawah, that train is going to move at full speed. The Republicans, the so-called right wing, the so-called conservatives, they're not an alternative to this system. They're just 5 years behind schedule. So in 2013, the left wing was pushing for gay marriage. The right wing said, no, we have a problem with gay marriage. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Then 2016 comes along, just 3 years later, a very short amount of time. And now suddenly the Republicans are saying, well, we agree with freedom for all, including homosexuals, including the gays and the lesbians. We agree. And then the left wing says, okay, great. Now we need freedom for the trans. And then the Republican, the right wing, the conservatives say, no. Gay marriage, that's just a part of freedom. But transgenderism, no, this is a bridge too far. Then you get to 2019, you get to 2020. And then the Republicans even go on to accept that. They say, well, if a man thinks that he's a woman and a woman thinks that she's really a man, well, that's in their freedom to decide that. But we draw the line on children taking hormone therapy and changing their gender. Children should not be gender transition. That's a bridge too far. While the left wing is saying, well, children also have the freedom to choose. So the Republicans, the conservatives, aren't really conserving anything. They're just controlled opposition. They're just taking all of the same liberal positions, just 2, 3, 4 years removed. 2, 3 years after the left wing takes on those positions, but the train of liberal secularism marches on and proceeds. The same kind of dynamic we see emerging in the Middle East. The same kind of dynamic. Because the value of the right wing is that as controlled opposition, it gives people who are otherwise Christian or conservative or more traditional, it gives them the false sense that their views are being represented in power. So it's a kind of a release valve. If that release valve didn't exist, that pressure from those more conservative Christians or traditional people, that pressure would build up with more resentment, with more dissatisfaction. They would grow to be increasingly angry and hateful by the fact that their entire country is being subverted. All of their traditions, their religion, their family values, literally the institution of the family is being subverted by this liberal secular force that is proceeding nonstop. They will develop a lot of anger, and that anger will bubble up. It'll cause political instability. It will cause threats against the ruling power, against the elites. So we need a release valve. We need to give these people the illusion that they're actually, things are moving in the right direction for them, or that there is an alternative for them. So we have this controlled opposition, which is the right wing, which is the Republican Party, for example. But the same kind of dynamic, for the same exact reasons, are cropping up within the Muslim world. You have the left wing, you can call it, the ones who are in the Muslim world, in the Arab world, in the Middle East, who are in favor of unhindered progress. We need to completely secularize. We need to have J-Lo concerts, Nicki Minaj concerts in the Haram in Mecca and Medina, and we need to have bikini shows, and we need to have full-blown atheism allowed and blasphemy allowed to be spoken in our countries, like just full Western secularization, full Western normalization. You have that brand or that wing fully on board the liberal secular train, and then the alternative is like no. We need to preserve Islamic heritage, and our women need to, not wear bikinis. Our women need to wear hijab, and we need to have, in all of our universities, you need to have an Islamic department. So yeah, we have all the STEM subjects, the science, the technology, the literature, but okay, we have a kulliyah dedicated to Islamic studies. We need to maintain our heritage with these beautiful masajid, these beautiful structures. We're gonna dedicate money toward building, these Islamic monuments with Islamic art. We need to preserve Islamic arts. We need to teach Arabic, teach the Quran. We need to have Quran competitions. But it's always this Islam that they're promoting is a sanitized Islam, is a Islam that is secularized. As long as you don't threaten the infrastructure of liberal secularism and the attachment and the domination of the West over these Muslim countries, then yeah, your wife can wear the hijab. You can put your kids in an Islamic school. You can go and visit and see these beautiful masajid, these Islamic sites. Islamic tourism is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. You can have your halal food, no problem. Just don't step out of line. Don't become an extremist. Don't advocate for Islamic governance. Don't advocate for saving Palestinians from genocide. Don't advocate for armed resistance against the Palestinian genocide. Don't advocate for Islamic governance or khilafah. Don't advocate something crazy like, oh, women should not be going and following the feminist path of the West and becoming educated businesswomen. Don't advocate for anything like that. The Islam that we accept means an Islam where, yeah, the women wear hijab and they go study science in the university and they become successful career women and successful business women and scientists, just like Khadija. Radiallahu anha. That's the kind of Islam that is allowed. So that becomes a release valve for a large portion of the conservative Muslim population. But the underlying system of liberal secularism is the same. So this is the future. If you look, and you can look at the Muslim world right now, and you can see which countries fall into which bracket. The countries that are going to push nonstop liberal secularism, the train's not going to stop, they're also the ones who are signing on to the Abraham Accords. They're also the ones that are the most open to investment from the United States, the most investment from Israel and Zionist companies, because they're not even shy about it. They have acknowledged that Islam is not really in the picture, and solidarity with Palestinians or caring about Masjid al-Aqsa, like that's not in the picture at all. And then you see countries that aren't at that extreme, but they're also like, are you really providing an alternative